Local smart speakers have always had one problem. Not only do they look like a dev kit, but they sound like one too. The satellite one from FutureProofHomes just got a real enclosure, and after running it in my home for the past few weeks, you're about to find out whether it was actually worth it or whether you're better off just using something you already have. Now, the Home Assistant voice was a good first entry into the local smart speaker market. This was made by Nabucasa, the makers of Home Assistant. But it has one problem. The onboard speaker isn't that great. It was more of a smart assistant with also a speaker on it, rather than a smart speaker that also had a voice assistant. And the Satellite One smart speaker from FutureProofHomes is their answer to that problem. It takes a few kit components and creates a real speaker with a woofer and a tweeter, along with voice control and a passive crossover, and also a durable 3D printed enclosure. And so because it uses ESPHome under the hood, that means everything's local. There's no like cloud connection to some other voice assistant or something like that. Everything's local on your network, and it does that without sacrificing audio quality. Mine came in two different kits, but FutureProofHomes actually recently released a pre-assembled version where you don't have to build anything. You can just buy it and then hook it directly into Home Assistant. I'll link that in the description for you to check that out. The price is the same whether you do it via the kits or you just get it pre-assembled. Newer ones have a millimeter waves sensor that you can have inside your speaker, which is actually a great idea. And then there's also a larger Wi-Fi antenna that's also available. But outside of those two things, the speaker's the same. So whether you build it or whether you buy it, you're going to end up with generally the same experience. So mine came in two different kits. One was just the PCBs, and then the other one, like I mentioned, has the enclosure with the wires and the speakers. The speakers are a 3-inch 15-watt woofer with a peak of 20 watts at 4 ohms. There's also a 1.2-inch 15-watt tweeter, which also can peak at 20 watts at 4 ohms. There's also a few sensors on board, which is kind of an interesting take. There's a humidity and temperature sensor, kind of like what you see on other ESPHome devices. Very similar here too. There's Wi-Fi and Bluetooth because it uses an ESP32 chip on board. So you pretty much get the same type of things you would get from a lot of other ESP32 devices. And then of course it's powered with USB-C there on the back, along with an auxiliary port there if you want to hook something into the speaker and play audio out of it that way. So both of the kits combined are around 140 bucks. And the pre-assembled version is also around 140 bucks, so they're basically the same price. The assembly itself was pretty straightforward, but there's one part that almost made me think maybe this isn't even worth it. And so once you put the speakers in, those are easy. Those are just a couple of screws. You put the crossover in along with the wires that are plugged in the right way. If you're following the official installation video from FutureProofHomes, make sure that your passover is turned the right way. There should be the 3 blue terminal clusters, I guess is what you'd call them. Those should all be pointing upward to the sides, and there should be nothing on the bottom. This will make your installation a lot easier. But the one thing that was fiddly for me was because the case comes in 2 different pieces, you put screws in on one side and then you kind of push it together and then move it up slightly so that they lock into place. Those have to be very precise in order for that to work. Now, they do include a guide with how far down the screws need to go, and that was useful, but it didn't really help with the direction of the screws. Some of them were kind of tilted off to the side and they didn't line up. And then once I had started to get it into the other side of the case, it got stuck and I couldn't like pull it out, and I didn't want to just like rip it because then it might mess up my case. And so if you're building the kit version, just make sure that the screws are not only the same distance down into the side of the case, into the enclosure, but then also make sure that they're pointing straight up. It's doable in like an hour or two on a Sunday afternoon if you wanted a project and you wanted to build it yourself. I'm kind of curious to see how many people out there are the builders, tinkerers types, or whether someone would just want to buy it and move on. So let me know. Now, when it comes to the software setup, it hooks into Home Assistant or any other software using ESPHome. If you don't already have Bluetooth set up in Home Assistant, I've got a guide that shows you how to do it the best way. I'll leave a link to it in the description. So if you're following this while you're building it, go set that up and then come back, and then you can continue configuring the speaker. So once you get it hooked in with Bluetooth, then you're going to need to actually set up Music Assistant in order to play music out of your speakers. That part I didn't already have set up, so I had to figure out how to do that. You install the Home Assistant app for it, and then you add some music sources and you choose whatever streaming service you want. I got 2 of them, one for a local NAS and then one for a streaming service. And then you can go over to player providers and just make sure that the Home Assistant Media Player's player provider is added into Music Assistant. And that lets you use any media player in Home Assistant to be a target for the music that Music Assistant plays. And so now that we've got that all set up and ready to go, now we can actually play some music out of this and see if this was actually worth all the effort of putting it together. And so first I did the lowest possible volume and then played a sample song out of that. And then I cranked it up to the max possible volume and then recorded that output. Now, I'm not like an official sound engineer. Like, this isn't a sound-proof room. There's not like panels everywhere capturing sound. So the decibel levels aren't going to match your experience exactly. What was good to hear is that there's actually a solid bass in this speaker. Obviously, it's got a 3-inch woofer, which, you wouldn't see it on like a car or anything like that, but you can actually hear and feel the bass, if that makes sense. Now, there is also voice control on this thing. Because I use ESPHome, it hooks directly into your Home Assistant voice control pipeline, kind of like if you have the Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition or some other voice setup in Home Assistant. It uses the same thing.
Turn off the guest bedroom lights.
But it is good to see that option on this thing. That means I can control where my voice goes and how it's used when I give it voice commands. Because it uses ESPHome, that means you can control the volume directly from Home Assistant. You can control the LED ring. You can see the temperature and humidity sensors that are on the board. And if you buy the pre-assembled one or the newer kits, you'll get the millimeter wave sensor, and you can also check that in there too. And because it's hooked into Home Assistant, that means it has the same media player functions as any other media player. So if you wanted to announce that someone was home after they walked in, you could do that.
Yo man, welcome home.
So let's do a quick test between the Satellite One kit and the Home Assistant voice. The Voice Preview Edition is around $59 and it works, but the speaker's small, so it's not going to have as full of a sound. You won't be able to hear much of the bass. And so the Home Assistant voice kind of sounds like this at the same low, medium, and high range that we saw earlier. So you can pretty much tell immediately that these are fully fledged speakers and this is just like an onboard speaker. This audio sounded much better than the voice. It really comes down to convenience and design. If you already have the voice and it's hooked into another speaker already, you probably don't need to buy the Satellite One because you've got this one and everything already works. If you want a simple, clean way in Home Assistant to not only play audio that sounds pretty good, but also control it in your automations, I think this is a great option. The fact that they have a pre-assembled version will make it easy. The millimeter wave sensor on the pre-assembled versions is a really nice touch, but that's not the only millimeter wave sensor that you should be having in your home. Aqara and SwitchBot both released their millimeter wave presence sensors. I pitted those two together in this video to see which one is the best one for you in your smart home. So check that one out, and I'll see you there.